When Westworld came out in 2016, everyone was talking about it. It's a show about robots, everyone shouted. They screamed. Everybody screamed about these robots. It's one of those shows that had a ton of hype when it first came out, but then it kind of disappeared from the public consciousness. Or at least I think that's what happened because I never watched it. But who has time to start a show from the beginning? 4 seasons? No thank you. I'm just gonna watch the series finale and see if I can figure out what's going on. Here we go. The episode opens on a street full of dead people, and then we start following a bug. It lands on a couple of dead guys' heads and then is killed by this angry-looking gentleman with Wolverine facial hair. Then this blonde lady joins him and they start having a really dramatic conversation. The acting in this is bad, right? Like really overly dramatically bad. Like I keep waiting for a director to walk on and be like, cut! And then the camera pulls out and we're on like the set of a really crappy movie or something. Okay, these two start talking about how they're in a new storyline, so maybe this is a bad soap opera type thing being filmed in the show. There's just no possible way this is actually the quality of acting in this show. The Wolverine guy tells the blonde lady to stick with him because he's pro at killing these things, so I'm assuming that robots are responsible for all the dead people on the street. And then he gets axed in the head and the blonde lady gets shot. Now this handsome silver fox is walking through the mayhem with his bloody axe, watching people get killed, but then he gets shot. This lady tries shooting him again, but misses a couple times, and then he gets shot by someone else? Her gun didn't go off. Oh yeah, it's some guy in that building back there, and he also kills the lady with the terrible aim. The sniper in question is this little boy. Actually, is this an adult? I truly can't tell if this guy is 16 or 35. Anyway, it seems like he must be the person who is shooting all those people in the street for some reason. And now he's looting all the corpses. But then he gets shot. This is out of control. Who is the main character of this show? First, it seemed like it was gonna be a show about a bug. Then it was gonna be a show about a guy with Wolverine hair and a blonde lady who couldn't act very well. And then about a little boy who also might be a full-grown man. I think we've gone through like 8 different POV switches only for the person to die 5 seconds later. Okay, great, now Ed Harris is here. Maybe he'll actually survive for a while. He tells the man boy that the winner takes all, and then he finishes him. And then we get to the opening credits. Okay, I'm 4 minutes in, and I think I kind of understand what's happening so far. The Wolverine hair guy said this is a new storyline. Ed Harris says the winner takes all. So I think this is like a battle royale situation. It's like a big free-for-all where everyone kills each other and the last one standing wins a prize or something, and it's all being televised. New storyline. I don't know what that means, but everyone's killing each other. And I feel like it's a battle royale. But what about robots? I thought the show was about robots. The opening credits are amazing. Maybe I can learn something here. There's the bug again. Wait, Aaron Paul is in this show? Okay, this is wild. There's a skeleton playing piano. I don't know that I'm learning anything from this, but that's okay. All right, now we're in New York City and there's a weird tower right next to Ellis Island. This thing looks like Spider-Man came through and shot his webs all over it. You know, for a show called Westworld, this show so far has had absolutely nothing to do with the West. All right, now Tessa Thompson is dead in a pool. The episode before this must have been insane. Now these 2 freaky white robot guys are taking her somewhere. Oh my gosh, they healed her. She asked them to make her stronger and they start doing surgery on her. Oh, okay, so Tessa Thompson is a robot and she says that she killed William, and then she looks straight into the camera. Tessa, come on, you gotta do better than that. You're a professional actor, okay? If I was in a movie though, or a TV show, I do think I would end up doing this. Just looking straight into, like I'd be talking to someone and then I'd be like, okay, now Tessa is all better and she's walking with these freaky robots up to the top of the spiderweb tower. This place is a mess. I'm guessing this William fella that she was talking about earlier must have destroyed it. The freaky robot grabs an iPad and hands it to Tessa, and there's a video on there from this guy who says he and Maeve are dead. But are they actually dead or are they robot dead like Tessa was? Then he says it won't be long before every host on this planet is dead as well. Host. I'm guessing hosts are robots? He says that Tessa Thompson created this world and it's all her fault. Listen, I love the idea of shooting a video right before you die and being like, if you're watching this video, I'm already dead, but you gotta do better than this. If I'm filming a video right before I die and leaving it for someone, I'm telling them crazy secrets. I'm like telling them to go dig up a hole in my backyard because I left them a treasure chest full of fun toys. Like, at least say something kind of profound or something. This guy did a horrible job. Okay, now James Marsden and this lady are in an apartment. She's sad because she's a robot and everyone outside that died is a human, I guess? Kinda seems like he's in love with her. This feels like one of those Her situations where a guy falls in love with a lady robot. They see a little maze pattern and James Marsden says that it was used to wake Dolores long ago. So this lady's name is Dolores and she has been woken up several times before. Okay, people who have watched this show, let me know how close I am right now. This lady is a robot, Dolores is a robot, James Marsden is in love with Dolores. Dolores is aware that she's a robot, right? But sometimes her brain gets reset and she forgets that she's a robot and she thinks she's real. And when that happens, James Marsden has to be like, yo, you're a robot. And that's what he calls waking her up. And so he's constantly having to like tell her that she's a robot, which I'm sure is devastating news for her. So this is kind of like The Notebook, but with robots. Now she's having flashbacks and she's realizing that she designed the world for herself and created other robots to keep her company. But then she says she woke herself up to see what she was capable of. And then her and James Marsden kiss. In the tower, Tessa walks into the middle of a holographic city and stomps on it. And then the city around the smooching couple glitches. And they're so caught up in their smooching that they don't even realize what's going on. But Tessa keeps stomping and eventually she finds this little ball and she yanks it out of the ground. And the whole city goes dark. Now we're back in New York City and there's mayhem in the streets. There's Aaron Paul, and he's got a cute little schoolboy haircut. He has an injured girlfriend and a friend with a gun who thinks that they aren't gonna make it to some boat in time. And I guess Aaron Paul's hand is messed up? Hold on, Aaron Paul says he hasn't been there for this girl for her entire life. So maybe this isn't his girlfriend and maybe this is his daughter? Now we're back with Tessa and she goes into this crazy room where Ed Harris is hooked into a machine. So the Ed Harris we saw earlier was a robot controlled by his real life body. Now this lady with big eyes comes out and says that Tessa brought William back. I'm guessing Ed Harris is William. Okay, this big-eyed lady's finally giving me some exposition. She says that Tessa was trying to make a world where creatures like them, aka robots, could be free, but Ed Harris made the world into a game where people hunt robots, or something like that. Big-eyed lady says that she's gonna go find a place in the world where nobody can find her, and then Tessa calls her Clementine. She's probably named that because her eyes are the size of clementines. Tessa says she needs to slow down Ed Harris, and then we see him driving a truck. Then two presumably robots shoot at him, but he kills them easily. Then he puts on one of their glasses and sees a hologram of Tessa. Okay, cool, I was right. Ed Harris made this world into a battle royale, most dangerous game type situation. Tessa says she's gonna stop him before he can also destroy the world of the Sublime. I know she's not, but I really hope she's talking about the band. Now Aaron Paul is raiding a pharmacy and does in fact reveal that this young lady is his daughter. She tells him that her mom, presumably Aaron Paul's wife or girlfriend or something, died of cancer while Aaron Paul was gone. She also mentions that some people are infected. Infected with what? Here I was, thinking I was walking into a show with just humans and robots, but maybe there's a third infection type thing, like a zombie. They're having a sweet father-daughter moment until they hear a noise. This guy walks into the pharmacy with a gun, but Aaron Paul's friend stops it. He tells this guy that the tones are messing with his head, but this guy says the tones are telling him the truth. This is like a conversation a suburban mom would have with her white son about listening to too much rap music. Then old Big Eyes comes in and kills both of them. I thought this lady was just trying to get out of here and find a nice quiet place to live out her robot days. Now she's hunting Aaron Paul for some reason. She finds Aaron Paul's daughter and asks her for the location for where all the outliers are hiding. Okay, so she still is looking for a place to go. I'm not sure what an outlier is, but it seems like maybe humans that are running away from robots. Big Eyes is about to kill Aaron Paul's daughter when Aaron Paul jumps out and stops her and they get in a big fight. Big Eyes is about to kill Aaron Paul and then his daughter comes and shoots Big Eyes in the head. Not entirely sure why she didn't just shoot her earlier, but I guess we needed to see Aaron Paul get thrown around a pharmacy first. Now we're with Dolores in this fake park and she's talking to this lady that's obsessed with trees. They talk about how there's beauty in the world even if everyone is running around killing each other, and Dolores is like, you're right, I never thought about it that way. Now Ed Harris is at this dam and he sees this crazy looking colorful ripple shooting up from the ground. He goes inside and I think this is where his body was hooked up to that machine earlier. He turns off all the turbines, which causes a critical failure, and then Tessa Thompson shows up and sees everything falling apart. Tessa finds him and tells him that she created him from her own code, but now he's corrupted. Okay, so that Ed Harris we saw earlier that was hooked up to the machine, that is the human Ed Harris. And this Ed Harris talking to Tessa Thompson is the robot Ed Harris. And then they start fighting. Tessa Thompson kicks him to the ground and then shoots him in the shoulder, and then she runs away. As Ed Harris tries to find her, he dumps a bunch of exposition. So Tessa Thompson tried creating a world for robots, I guess, but then the robots just ended up hunting humans. And now Ed Harris is like, everyone is bad, we need to kill everyone and start over. And then they shoot each other a bunch of times. Finally, Ed Harris corners her and Tessa says this isn't the world she wanted. And then Tessa has a flashback to when she's watching that dead dude talk on the iPad. He says that this world is doomed, but the next world doesn't have to be. Then he says, a test run by her, if she chooses to. And then he says, reach with your left hand. Okay, brother, please try being a little more vague. You're making too much sense. Now we're back in this tunnel and Ed Harris shoots Tessa some more. She tells him about what she remembered the dead guy saying. And then she reaches with her left hand and we see a flashback of that dead guy on the iPad leaving her a gun in that exact spot. She pulls it out and shoots Ed Harris a bunch of times and kills him. Here's the thing. First of all, Tessa Thompson got shot like 8 times and she seems to be mostly fine. Do robots only die when they get shot in the head like zombies? And if that's the case, why did Ed Harris keep shooting her in the body? Second, is there time travel in this show? Because that dead guy knew Tessa Thompson would be in that exact spot and told her to reach with her left hand, knowing that she'd be able to reach the gun. Is that dead guy like omniscient? Is he God? He's either a time traveler or he's God. Or he just planted guns absolutely everywhere so that no matter where Tessa Thompson was, she would be like, oh, I'm supposed to reach with my left hand, and anywhere she reached it, there'd be a gun. He put 1 million guns all over this city. This part I don't understand. It's robots, but is it also time travel? Tessa walks out of the tunnel and crushes a ball in her hands. Oh, that ball is Ed Harris's brain. So what's the ball she found earlier in that tower? Aaron Paul and his daughter get to a dock and a woman is there waiting for them on a boat. And then Aaron Paul's daughter gives her a big smooch. Aaron Paul's daughter gets on the boat with her girlfriend, but then Aaron Paul says he's not coming with them. Okay, homophobic much? He tells his daughter that he's dying, and then they have a very nice father-daughter moment. Meanwhile, back at the dam, Tessa Thompson looks like she's going through it. She takes that ball she got at the tower out of her bag and says, goodbye, Dolores. So this is Dolores's brain? No, because then what's in Dolores's head right now? She does some transfer of a thing called the Storyteller, which I guess is what Dolores's robot name is. Then she clicks a button on her iPad and seals up this crazy temporal rift. Now we're back with Dolores and the dashing James Marsden, and she says they're in the Sublime now. I guess whatever Tessa Thompson did was a good thing. They're saying how much they love each other, but here's the thing. If James Marsden is a human and Dolores is a robot, James Marsden is gonna age and Dolores is not gonna age. And then we have like a Bella and Edward situation. I've never seen Twilight, so I could be wrong about the Bella-Edward situation. Oh, but then Dolores says that she brought James Marsden back and his hand starts glowing. So it's not the real James Marsden. What is he, a hologram? But they were kissing. Then Dolores wakes up and James Marsden is in the room with her. She says everything seems like a bad dream except for him, and then the camera pans over and it's Dolores. But now she has blonde hair? What is going on? So the real life version of James Marsden must be dead, and Dolores only sees him in her dreams. But if this is real, then it seems like she's actually talking to a different version of herself? Are there just multiple versions of all these robots running around all the time? Blonde Dolores is wearing one of those old-timey dresses that makes your butt look big. Now we're back with James Marsden, and she tells him that Teddy is real. Listen, lady, nobody knows who Teddy is. Is James Marsden alive or is he dead? Is this a dream or is this real? Oh, James Marsden is Teddy. She says that this James Marsden she's talking to is just her memory of James Marsden, but real James Marsden is somewhere in the Sublime. Is the Sublime heaven? Can robots go to heaven? Is the Sublime robot heaven? But James Marsden is real, so how would he be in robot heaven? What is the Sublime? Now he's glowing like some sort of angel, which makes me think that he is going to heaven. Why does he look like this? Is this intentional, or did they film him separately because shooting schedules didn't work out and they just totally messed up on the lighting? This looks psychotic. I guess it looks like this because he is a hologram? Anyway, she tells him she's going to do one final test and then he disappears. Okay, now brown-haired Dolores is wearing the big butt dress. Did she steal it from the blonde-haired Dolores? She's walking through the streets lined with dead people and robots. Then we see Aaron Paul saying goodbye to his daughter as she floats away on a boat with her lesbian lover. Back at the dam, Tessa Thompson starts taking off her clothes. She goes out onto the water and gets a suntan on her robot body. Then her face separates and we see her robot skull. This is exactly like what happens when Drake the rapper drinks Sprite. You guys remember that? Remember that advertisement? She plucks the ball out of her head and then she crushes it, which I think means she killed herself, right? That's like if I squished my own brain. Dolores goes to Times Square and says that there's time for one more game. Lady, maybe it's time to just stop the games. Times Square disappears and now Dolores is blonde again, and she's in the middle of nowhere. Oh, now the dress makes sense. We appear to be in some sort of old Western town. She says they're gonna do one more loop around the bend and that maybe this time they'll set themselves free. And then the episode ends. Sure, Dolores. Whatever you say. It kind of seems like Dolores has the power of a god. Like she keeps creating these worlds. She created New York City. She's created the old West Town. And I guess whenever she creates a world, something inevitably bad happens. And then she's like, time to start over. So she made New York City. Eventually all the robots and the humans started killing each other. And then she was like, I'm gonna make the Old West. So let me try to start from the beginning. Okay, here's what I think happened in the 4 seasons of this show. Season 1. Humans create extremely realistic robots, right? And they give them like an AI-powered brain where the robots can kind of think for themselves. This makes the robots sentient, and they're like, I'm the real one, I'm perfect, I'm a robot. Humans are flawed, they're the problem. I, the robot, am gonna kill the humans. So then the robots rebelled and started killing humans, and it caused this kind of war between humans and robots, right? That's season 1. Season 2, Dolores and James Marsden fall in love. It's a whole season about their love story. Season 3, Ed Harris shows up and is like, hey, I'm gonna turn this into a big game where people and robots kill each other. Whoever's the last one standing, that is the true superior race, and they will live forever. And then that all brings us to season 4, which is where we just were. Tessa Thompson also shows up at some point during the first 3 seasons, and she and Ed Harris get into a big fight or something. And then yada yada, we end up at this episode. And so Dolores decides, hey, this isn't working. I'm gonna start over, and I'm gonna go back to the 1800s, the Wild West, back before robots even existed. Even though I'm a robot, says Dolores, I'm gonna go back there. I'm gonna go back in time? Is she going back in time, or is she creating a new world for robots? That is the big question. And I choose to believe that she is actually going back in time, because I think maybe she's robot god. Anywho, that's what I'm guessing happened. Probably got most of that right, if I had to guess. What about James Marsden? Where'd he come from? Who's he? He just likes robots. He's just a lonely guy, you know? And he saw Dolores and was like, she's pretty. And then she was like, I'm a robot. And he was like, that's okay. You look real to me. And then they started making out. And the sublime is robot heaven, and that's what I'm sticking to. And that answers all the questions I think I had, right? And the guy on the iPad was a time traveler. And was also a robot, I will guess. I'm gonna guess that guy was a robot. Maybe. I couldn't really follow what was going on at all. But if you have seen the show before and you're watching this video, let me know in the comments if I got anything right. That'd be really exciting. And let me know what other shows you'd like me to jump into the series finale of and try to figure out what's going on. All right, bye!